Okay, so now if you have someone like the governor of Niger State come out to publicly to state that they're not going to be sending food out or exporting food, they're just going to keep it to themselves. Isn't that a problem already? Because I hear you talk about food hoarding. So they should, why won't it now looks like, okay, there was this meeting with governors and then the president, but then one of you is saying that he's not going to send food out of his own state. So shouldn't it start from you then?
That is another problem from its own dimension. I didn't go with that idea of the governor of Niger State. Yeah, because the Niger State is producing tuber, yams. In the Jigawa, we don't have yam. We have to import, we have to look for the yam from Niger and the other part. We are more on grain. So we take grain to them. It's an exchange.
Okay.
If you said that the food items from Niger cannot go anywhere, then you are creating another problem.
That means you just sit and eat your yams.
Of course. And there is no way. They need beans. We have beans from Jigawa, from Kanu, from Katsina. And we need the yam over there. So it's just like a swap. I quite agree that, okay, henceforth, the food items cannot be exported outside the country. All our borders are porous. I said it last time when we were having discussion.
I will begin this conversation taking our quote first from Albert Einstein, who once said, "The hardest thing in the world to understand is the income tax." Okay, my next one will be from George Bernard Shaw, who once said, "Reformers have the idea that change can be achieved by brute sanity." Right? And my next one will be from Benjamin Franklin, who once stated that when men are employed, they are best contented. And I agree with that one. Okay, we'll take this one from Adam Smith, who once said, "It is not from the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker that we expect our dinner, but from their regard for their own interest." Okay, that's it. My last quote for today will be from David Cameron, who once said, "The economy is the start and end of everything. You can't have successful education reform or any other reform if you don't have a strong economy." Now let's see how this quote relates to what we'll be discussing today. Very warm greetings and welcome to The Conversation. We're reaching you from Kaftan's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Annabelle Oji. I'm sure you're wondering what exactly those quotes are related to or what we will be discussing today. Today we'll turn our attention to state of the nation, especially the mood of the nation, especially now that you have a lot of people going into one protest or the other, and then you have food insecurity, you have insecurity itself, and then people chanting or shouting "Ibing Pami" or "Ibing Pawa" means that we are hungry. What is the government doing in that regard? My guest on the show today is Ahmed Kazaure, who is a lecturer at Federal University Dutse, Jigawa. He's an entrepreneur, he's a politician, and maybe he would have not only the answer to our questions, but at least help in terms of advising the government on what we should do and what is the next step forward. Because if it touches on one, it hits on everyone. Like they say, once it affects the eyes, the nose will also bleed. Welcome to the show, Kazaure.
Thank you very much, and good morning, Annabelle.
Good morning. Great to have you on the show again.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, so now let me ask you personally and directly, apart from being a politician, the fact that you're a Nigerian, a lecturer, a family man, a father at this time, because it looks like this time, even if you have one cent, you have a lot of people who want to eat out of that your 1 cent.
Sure.
What is it like for you? What is your read on the state of the nation?
Well, thank you very much, Annabelle, and I think the situation is worrisome, let's be honest. Yeah, as you rightly said, the little you have, the lot of people that are surrounding it, and you have to give out. But still the inflow that is coming in is stagnant. Then this is where the problem started. So I think the first step forward is to read in between the lines. what is most, and what is it that you can shift a bit out. Aside that, the situation is worrisome, honestly speaking. Yeah. Remember, I am from Jigawa, and you know Jigawa, so I am in better position to say what I know from my own community.
Tell us what it looks like from your community.
It's very, very disturbing. You know, it's not something that you can just talk about with pleasure. No, you can see from the mood. People are in abject poverty, and the poverty of food, which is very, very difficult to be content and control. Because if people are hungry, then what else can they do? People are hungry. So I think the authority need to sit up and look inward. So maybe diving into the issue, we can see why a lot of things can be done.
Okay.
To come across this.
Okay, so I hear you say that people are hungry, and then at some point, some people will tell you that it's been there over time. It's not as if this government brought in hunger. And then some other persons will tell you, oh, it is from this government that it got worse. Even though the defense minister has said no one should accuse the president of being responsible for the hunger and the strife. Else, if you do that at your own peril. But then, it is what it is. People are hungry, like you stated. They're already out on the streets protesting on one thing or the other. So how exactly did we get here? How exactly did we get to a point where a bag of rice is now 77,000? How exactly did we get to a point where the naira to the dollar is now 1,720 naira at the parallel market? Probably to get to 2,000 in all official, both the official and the parallel market. How exactly did we get to a point where a carton of noodles, whether the old, whether the Indomie or the new ones, is now as expensive as over 7,000 naira? Where did we miss it?
Yeah, I go with the Minister of Defense first, because anybody that can say it is directly by the government, maybe we can put some word of contention on that. But to be honest, it's the policy. That is number one. The government policy. That's what dives us into the situation we are. If you look at the organizational structure, that is operational level, top level management, managerial level, and the strategic management, the FIC level of it.
Okay.
That is the presidency in our system. If the top organization can make a mistake, it will destroy the whole organization. Because the strategic level are the highest decision makers. And if at all in an organization there should be a mistake, then that mistake cannot come from the top level of the organization. It has been expected from the operational level, where it can be controlled. That is to say the local government level, the state level, now the top, that is the federal government. But this time around, the federal government dropped just 1 ink of, a kind of chemicals and destroy the organization.
So you're saying that the problem is for the federal government?
Of course, the first statement of the president to remove the subsidy, although there is insinuation that the previous administration has already removed the subsidy. But for the present administration, it's just the pronouncement. So by that pronouncement, without taking any measures to curtail with the aftermath of it, this is where we find ourselves. That's the fact. The president is in a hurry, to make sure that I have done what the Western world is in need of, IMF and others, and he dived into that.
Was that being in a hurry?
Of course. Check the statement of the president when in the inauguration. The issue of subsidy is not there. Come on, it's not there written. Because the people that are behind him, they know the danger we are going. And he just takes the decision. And this is where we are. And as the former CBN governor, Sunusi said, the former Emir of Kano, this is just the beginning. And I fear that if today people can come out and protest, what is tomorrow? What is next tomorrow? The fascism power is not there. So the situation, as I earlier said, is worrisome. The government needs to sit up. It has to do the needful. And if at all it reaches to the level that the common man cannot bear, then, which we are afraid it will not happen, then the problem is beyond, human to probably control.
Now we'll take some of the headlines for this morning. I will start with New Telegraph. Says no 42,000 tons of grains in federal government strategic reserves or silos coming from Bugaje. And then the writers to that story says government rented out all its silos, can't control prices or produce its or produce that it doesn't have. And the Nigerians grappling with problems coming from Buhari, or that was planted by Buhari, and that's coming from Middle Belt Forum. Do you actually accept that?
Yeah, I accepted that.
Because I also remember Sanusi saying that all of this ripple effect is from what former President Buhari.
Of course. You see, when our leaders spoken, we at times ignore what they are talking about. You remember during the national administration, when the former Emir of Kano is saying there is misappropriation of about 20 million US dollars, then people are, no. And it results to where we are today. During the previous administration, the former CBN governor said it out. A boy who is a recharge card seller, who has never worked in any, I worked with the university for more than 10 years as a lecturer. But this guy has no experience simply because he's close to the power. He is now a billionaire. We are not envying him, but to justify how do you got that? Okay, it is that if my uncle or my father is a governor or is a president, then I become rich. It doesn't work that way. So when Sunusi is talking about this, everybody remain quiet. So Bugaji has said it, and I concur with that. I am from Jigawa. If you are going through Kano to Jigawa, there is Gaya. In Gaya, there is very huge federal government silos for food reserve.
Okay.
If you go to the gate, for the last 2 years, that gate has not been opened. Yeah. If I go back, I will snap the picture and send to you. That place has not been opened. So the grain reserve, they are telling them, Mr. President, they are lying on that. They have leased it out for other people to use.
Which other people? Yeah,
those that have the big money that are holding the food items. You can see last week the Kano State government has pushed forward to that. There are a lot of food stock in large stores of the people, and that they are rich. So the same people, if they don't have this place to accommodate the food, they borrow the reserve of the government and they put the items there. And when the president said we should remove certain amount of grain, they will now take the money and quickly give out to their boys and go to the market and purchase, and they will distribute. It happens. I have an evidence. It happens. So the people that are close to the presidency, close to the power, they should tell them the truth. Unless if they want to allow the situation, to be uncontrollable. But people are living in a very urgent food crisis, and that has to be taken care of. I'm glad the Bugaji has spoken. With the younger ones, we are coming on board to set our own. But the fact is, those in the corridor of power, they should tell the president the truth.
Okay, so now if you have someone like the governor of Niger State come out publicly to state that they're not going to be sending food out or exporting food, they're just going to keep it to themselves, isn't that a problem already? Because I hear you talk about food hoarding. So they should, why won't it now looks like, okay, there was this meeting with governors and then the president, but then one of you is saying that he's not going to send food out of his own state. So shouldn't it start from you then?
That is another problem from its own dimension. I didn't go with that idea of the governor of Niger State. Yeah, because the Niger State is producing tuber, yams. In the Jigawa, we don't have yam. We have to import, we have to look for the yam from Niger and the other part. We are more on grain. So we take grain to them. It's an exchange.
Okay.
If you said that the food items from Niger cannot go anywhere, then you are creating another problem.
That means you just sit down and eat your yams.
Of course. And there is no way. They need beans. We have beans from Jigawa, from Kano, from Katsina. And we need the yam over there. So it's just like a swap. I quite agree that, okay, henceforth, the food items cannot be exported outside the country. All our borders are porous. I said it last time when we were having a discussion. It's porous. There is no security. So if you take the food items, you can easily, go outside the country. I just read a news now this morning. In Zamfara State, there are more than 50 trucks that are taking food to Niger Republic, and they revert it back. So you can imagine that large amount of food has been outside of the country. Then we cry for hunger. Why?
So that means we are the ones doing ourselves.
Of course. Of course. Because of the high gain people are getting from that. Then they now dive and let everybody die. You can imagine if the purchasing power is there, people will not cry. But the purchasing power is not there, and a common man cannot afford to buy the items in the market, then he cry out. But there are some element of people at the low upper layer level that are enjoying the situation we are, and they are masterminders of that. If the government can get rid of them, we can come back to the limelight. How do
the government get rid of such people when they're also among the tax net?
That's one part of it. But if they so wish, they can do that. They can do it.
All right, let's talk about cement. We've seen that cement price. I remember buying cement a few years ago for 1,500, and then at some point it got to 2,500. But now, if you have any intentions to build a house, even a bungalow, and you don't have 8,000 to spare for just one bag of cement, or 7,000 as the case may be, or even more. Some places I even hear they're up to 11,000. So it depends on what you want to build. If you don't have as much as 7,000 or to 11,000 to buy a bag of cement, just even don't bother building a house. How would people now deal when you now have cement that we even produce here, now that expensive? It's not like we're importing them.
You see, above that, the easiest job a common man go and do and earn on a daily basis is that cement blocks industry, tile. They are now not working. I can remember when the President Buhari came in 2015, there is crash in the bag of cement. It dropped to 800, 1,000 naira per bag when he came into power. There are a lot of people that steal from the public fund. They now return the money. Then they have the fear that, okay, now there is leadership. If Mr. President got rid of it, I'm going to be in trouble. So everybody is careful enough. But what happened? At the tail end of his government, everything will have been what? Out of control. So the same thing with the cement industry. I read a news about the Iveto cement. I hope the government can do something about that. Let him come back on board. There is market monopoly. Where is Sokoto cement? Where is the Ashaka cement?
Ashaka cement.
I remember those things. Where is Ibeto? Open the market. Don't allow a monopoly into the market. If there is only 1 or 2 person that will provide the entire nation with the population of more than 260 million people with their needs, then how possible is that they can do it? It's not possible. So the market has to be open. There should be a mini cement factory, because still in the northern part, people build house with the mold. Sand. If they can manage to build their house with that, what it takes if they can grind the rock, mix it with the sand, build their houses, I think we are good to go. Then provide a mini cement or folded factory that can cater what this community needs. Just like in the oil sector. If there is modular refineries, nobody will worry about what is going on. But still there are big wings, which I said if the government wishes to get rid of them, they can do. But they are part of the system.
So if you say that the government needs to open the market and cut out all this monopoly, then some people will ask that, shouldn't they be the ones to fight to get in? Because if you remember, it used to be Dangote cement all along, but then Boa cement was able to fight its way in. So what if Ashake cement, what if Ibeto cement, what if there was one, or maybe Kazaure cement just decide to come in and then fight its way in? Wouldn't it work? Yeah. Does it have to be the government every time?
Sometimes it's the government, but when you look at the Porter's 5 forces model for the marketing, the rivalry of the existing customer, and how difficult it is for someone to enter the market, the power of buyer, the power of supplier. So those are the key drivers, in the competitive model. But in Nigeria, they make it very difficult for someone to key into the business. I told you last time about our own company, what we are having problem with. And still that one has not been taken care of. So if you want to start, you have to get prepared. Even you are inside the systems, there are forces that can push you out, but you have to resist. So it's not easy for someone to start a cement factory. In fact, why is the Sokoto cement? If you find out somebody buy it and he just allowed it to go, where is Ashaka cement? Probably somebody purchased the license by the company and he closed it down. There are many of this that is happening, and they are the same set of people.
Oh, so that means someone will just come and then buy it just to kill it.
Just buy it. It was in 50 or 10% production, and instead for him to move it up to 20, 30%, from that 10% he will start from sending out the staff. Probably it will shut down. And it's the same big wings that sponsor it. So it is only research and government readiness that can get country out of this situation. We have the data. We have the teaming youth that can do the needful. But is the government willing to do? It is only in Nigeria when you become the governor, you will see contractors coming to see, Your Excellency will come to see you and greet you. What for? And they will provide something I drop for you. Why? I'm Kazaure like this now. Nobody will take care to okay, Kazaure come, But when you are into the power, they now come man to man. They will push pressure on you. They will come close. They will become your friends. And they will not allow you to see the reality. And that is the problem.
Is that the problem with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
That is the problem with President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. I'm sorry to say he has to get rid of some people that are very close to him, if at all he wants to do the needful. But
he appointed them, especially the ministers.
If there is problem. Okay, remember our sister. What happened when there is a problem? Why is better edu? Something can be applied to others. Get rid of them. You are leading a country with the heavy human being, with the heavy resources. But if you allow some certain people to control or give you advice and you are having problem, send them out. It is the Nigerians that voted for you. Work for the Nigerians, not your people, not the people you so like. Work for the system. And this is why we're having a problem.
There's this new wave or this new air coming in that is kind of a process of calumny that is happening at this moment that is looking like take away the blame from the president and put the blame on all of your governors. You have people who come out to say that the president is not at fault in all that is happening now, but it is your governor. Your governor is, I've heard so many people call so many state governors without putting a name to it. They've called them different kinds of names, saying that they are the fault because they always go cap in hand to collect their FAQ, and then they don't use them to do anything. So should the blame be on, like you talked about the strategic, in the organogram, you talk about the strategic department and then all others, and then you say from the federal government, if a chemical drops, it affects others. So if someone comes out to tell you that leave the part where you have the president at the echelon and then come and put all the blame on the state governors, is that right?
Yeah, it is, two-way.
Okay.
If you put the blame to the presidency, probably because he's the commander-in-chief. If you drop down to the governors, because they are the one governing their state. If you take it a lower bit to the local government, but what can they do? The fact is, our governors are the architects of the problems. They dive to that. If our governors are honest, they know what to do and help the presidency. The presidency is to make the highest decision regarding the country's movement. You are the governor. You are the custodian of the state in terms of security, in terms of well-being of the people, and whatsoever. Okay. The president assured and promised to give 35,000 to the workers as a palliative on a monthly basis. Tell me any state governor who's paid 35,000 to the workers. Some of the governors paying 10,000 per month. You see, the fact is, we cannot blame the presidency 100%. Neither we, blame the governors. There are issues that are, propounding one another, and we have to open it up and get rid of that.
So, are you blaming your governor, the governor of Jigawa State?
I have to blame my governor. I blame him.
In what respect?
Yeah, in the respect of probably, paying the palliatives, providing the food security for the systems.
He has not given palliatives. Is that why you're blaming him?
Yeah, he gave 10,000. You can ask the staff from Jigawa State government. I'm not working with the state, but I know he gave them 10,000 naira. But the president assured that she would give what? 35,000.
So are you saying that he removed 25,000 out of the 35,000 and gave them 10,000?
They agree. The federal government agreed that to pay 35,000. And he said all the state governments should pay 35,000. I see no reason why you would say that you will not pay. I'm just trying to bring it on board to see how people look at things from different point of view. If we shift the blame from the presidency to the governors, so this is what the governors are doing. In that regard, they are right. The governors, they are the architects of the problem. But if you look at it in the other way around, when the president pronounced that there is removal of the fuel subsidy, at that moment, 95% of the Nigerian police station turned their meters. And they are paying at the government price, maybe 500. If today president say the fuel subsidy is back, it will take 3 months before other filling stations adopt that policy. They will say it has all stopped until it finished. This is where the issue is.
But is the fuel subsidy not back yet?
Officially, it's not yet back.
Officially?
That's what I can say.
Okay, let's go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue this conversation with Ahmed Kazaure. I'll see you after this time out. Join us again. So, and then the following person was talking about their culture, and then he said, talked about how before you get married, before you get married, the male has to be flogged so many times, and if you are strong enough to withstand that flogging, it means that your wife will know, oh, my husband is strong enough to get married to me. So what is the culture that you practice in Jigawa?
The first stage is the parent will look into who are your friends and what else can you do. Stage one is you have to provide your own home accommodation.
Okay.
So you gather your friends, you go and build your house. They will give you the land. Okay, build. After you build, you fix everything. Okay, now it's like you are ready. Okay, this is your farm. Can you produce what you can eat, you and that girl? For the next 2 years? Yes, I can do it. So then there is energy and that agility. So you have to go and work hard, based on what you have, gathered as a farm process. That is okay, this guy is mature enough to get married. He can take care of the family.
Okay.
And that is food security and accommodation. So that is why in Jigawa, majority you see that if we are married, we are living in our own home. So the more you are growing with family, you are now expanding. If you are buoyant enough, you can say, okay, I'm leaving this house to build another one. And that is one good thing about us.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is The Conversation, reaching you from Kaftan's Television City here in the nation's capital, Abuja. If you just joined us, you've actually missed out on the first part of the show, but then you can still join in the second part, as my guest on the show today is Ahmed Kazaure, who is a lecturer and he is also an entrepreneur. All right, before we went on that break, we've actually touched on a lot of things, but now let's move to the ripple effect of what inflation would cause. We'll look at unemployment. We also see on the daily say that unemployment rate rises to 5%. That's coming from the NBS. And then apart from unemployment, we already know what the ripple effect of unemployment will still bring again. That's crime, all social vices, and then you have a lot of, we're even still talking about the fact that in Abuja, in the FCT, most people cannot sleep with their 2 eyes closed because there is still one criminal activities or the other. Right on so many streets, I've heard of so many people coming out to complain of the fact that they were robbed, or the fact they were even robbed even on broad daylight. So we already know that the ripple effect will keep increasing every day. So if we have to touch on it, I hear some people say that the government is trying to juggle a lot of things together at the same time, but then why not just pick on one policies? If it is increasing food security, increasing how much food storage, because you talked about the silos around your area, how it has been shut down. If it is we want to talk about food. We want to sit on food and ensure that there's food sufficiency. Let us sit on food and not trying to, we are on food, we are on naira, we are on everything, but yet we're not able to catch one. Don't you, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think if the government, would adhere to the advice of the country citizens, then there is way out. At this critical time, there are a lot of infrastructural development that has to hang up and concentrate on production of the food. We're approaching the rain time, and in the other part, they can farm. So if the government can look into two things, I think we can have a very good day. Security and the food security.
Okay.
Yeah, because without the security, those people cannot go to the farm. They cannot farm. And without food security, then you cannot control the population.
But isn't that why they now have, there's this talk about state policing, even though during former President Buhari, he said no to it?
Yeah, even though Buhari said no to the state policing, maybe he has his own reason for that. But I see somebody writing a very brief and comprehensive and oversight from his own point of view on the state of the nation. We have the this National Civil Defense, I can't remember the acronyms, NCDS.
NCDC.
Yeah, NCDC, fine. And the road safety in each.
Oh, you mean the Civil Defense Corps?
Yeah, the Civil Defense
Corps. Okay, NSCDC.
Yeah, good. And road safety, the other group like vigilante from my state and the others. When you bring them on board, it will speed up the process of developing the state policing. And I always cite that example with my state, the Jigawa. This thing is working.
What is it that they are doing in Jigawa that is working?
It's something that is unique. It's unique. Because in Jigawa state, there is presence of government in every polling unit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In every polling unit, there are teams of 10 men developed by the former governor of Jigawa State, Saminu Turaki. That is back then as 1999. And that structure has helped to increase the security, to increase the agricultural production, and even awareness in the community. Out of those 10 people, 2 is the youth leader, is the traditional leader, is the Islamic scholar, is the woman leader, person with ability. Combination of those people. One of the business, the economic controller of that community. And every month the government is giving them then a token, let's say 100,000, to solve their immediate problem. And in that polling unit, you find out what they need is just a borehole. They said, okay, this month we have 100,000, next month we have 100, so let's join them together, let's put borehole here, and next month we'll put another borehole.
Oh, really?
Because their problem is water. So they got the water from there. Another community may say, okay, no, what we need is a small, dispensary, where if someone is sick, we can take him there. If we have the physician there, she can control the situation, even if it's overnight. Before in the morning, then we take him. Some communities, they said, no, what we need is, we are producing, grain. So how do we have a small storage, where if you have a problem, you can go and collect loan of 2 months of grain. After your harvest, you pay back. It's a system that works for the state. And every time if there is someone that is new into the community, when he comes, he has to introduce himself. Where are you from? Whom do you want to
So you say everybody, they know themselves.
They know themselves. That is Jigawa. We know ourselves. And after Saminu Turaki regime, when Sulalami come on board, he now expanded it. He now called all the traditional rulers, all the intellectuals, the community leaders, the religious leaders, they come together. They said, okay, this is the situation we are, this is our stage. How far can we go from this stage to this? And everybody on board bring his own idea. And he adopted that. That is why Jigawa is peaceful. We bordered Niger Republic, we bordered, Northeast, Yobe, Sokoto, we bordered Kano, and all these areas, there are a lot of Boko Harams, but Jigawa was peaceful. All these areas, there are banditries, there are kidnapping, but Jigawa, we are blessed, we are peaceful.
So why is it that, like you said, the former governor, Sule Lamido, was able to solve the problem there, why subnationally, how come we're not able to bring that same solution
if nationally? They can copy from the model of Jigawa State. I think we can go far. Because the issue is adaptation. If you understand the problem of your people, you can help them to solve the problem. But our leaders just, think other way around. And that is why today it is very difficult to see anything insecurity coming out from Jigawa. But of course, with the prayer and, definitely the government doing the needful, that is how we find ourselves in that situation. So state policing is a good idea. And
then how about those people who would say that the governors might decide to use them at their own will and caprice?
That is politician. I'm not afraid of the, the state policing. And anybody who is honest, anybody who is doing the lawful in the state should not be afraid of the state policing. But if you are a politician, you are afraid of what is coming, then definitely you can come on the space and say that the politician will use that as a tool to. No. As a law-abiding citizen, you have no problem, I think, Annabelle. You drive from there to wherever. You wear your seatbelt. If they stopped you by the road, okay, where's your identity? You bring out your driver license, your papers are there. They said, okay, thank you, and it's a journey. But if you don't have the driver license, the vehicle you are using, has no proper papers, then when you see the people on the road, you now start shaking. You try to ride on them and find your way. And that's exactly the insinuation of those people against the state policing. That is the fact. If you are not afraid of that, why not? I think they will add more to the security of the state.
All right.
Look at what Zamfara did, the Zamfara state governor. Unskillful people, but they have the willingness to defend their land. If you go by that, within a short period of time, we'll get rid of this banditry and the other issues.
All right, just before we land on State of the Nation, because we actually said that we're going to learn at least from every episode that we have, we're also going to learn from our culture, and at least have understand our unity in diversity. So now, before we get into that, what are your last words with regards to solving the solution? I mean, it's not, there's no quick fix. There's no short time. We need this to work now. What is at least the mid-term or the long-term solution plan that we can actually adhere to at least solve the issue of hunger first? Because no matter what, an hungry man is an angry man. Look at in OAU, you have a lecturer who was killed by the same lion that he has been feeding over the years. It means that it is not only a human being problem or challenge, it has even gotten to animals.
Yeah, so in that regard, I think there is short-term plan, medium-term plan, and long-term plan.
Okay.
The immediate short-term plan that I may advise the government to look into, if at all I'm right, there are key people in every community. They are the grain sellers. The government should liaise with them. The product they have, the grains, put the subsidy to that, and assure that that food has been given to the people. If you are buying the mood of rice at the cost of 3,000 naira, and you need one mood for your family in the next 2 or 3 days, when you come on board, you are only allowed to buy one mood for that consumption.
Oh, and so they dictate how
subsidy
the amount you buy.
It's not dictation. It's because if you allow somebody, she will buy 10 bags and kept. You understand what I mean? But immediate need is what matters most. If you are going to buy at the cost of 5,000, now there is subsidy is 2,500. So peer go and buy what you need. Maybe if you need for a week or for a month, which is okay. And if they had the supply is still coming, the rice is coming. Somebody that buy and kept, today it is 2,000 naira. After 3 days, what is the status of your store? We have like 15,000 or 20,000 bags still. Okay, fine, 15 more is coming. Now it is 30. 15 more is coming, or 20 more. I'm talking about the community. So they have seen that, okay, there is food at stock. So even when you buy and keep it at home, you don't need it. Then the next day, the price is dropped down. The federal government say, okay, previously it is 2,500, now it is 2,200. So even if you buy it in bulk with the expectation that it will go high, it is now going low now. So government can now get a very comfortable space and they pick the price silently. But overnight, you cannot go to the store and break it out and get the food out. No. So those people in various communities, in each state, they are known. They are deeply into that process.
They have a union or something?
They have a union.
Okay.
And for that to happen, we have our security agencies. So that is the immediate solution to that problem. If anybody can go and buy 2, 5, 1 bag, 2 bag, it's okay. If you keep the 2 bags, your purchasing power is low because you cannot buy the rice alone. You need to buy beans, you need to buy this. So by the control to that, people will say, okay, I'm okay now. I have the food, I have the what I need immediate now. So the tension will go lower now. The next step after that is government should look into those people. Okay, where is the source of your rice? It is being planted in Jigawa, okay, fine. Refined in Kano, okay, fine. So we foot mark to that. Can our farmers go to the farm? That is where the issue of security come on board.
Okay.
Provide the security, clear the land. But the fact, people are lying to the government. They are lying. And in as much as we go that way, I have never seen a day where we can get free of this situation.
So these are the short
and medium.
Mid.
The long-term plan is definitely diving into agriculture. Agricultural mechanization. We have to borrow the modern technology.
And not the subsistence farming.
And that is a sustainable way to go.
Okay.
I remember back then as 2017-18, one of the Africa richest man said there are only 2 sectors that remain to become rich in the world. ICT and agriculture. And those two can be married together. So agriculture, we have the virgin land, but we don't have the equipment. We have the manpower, but people that are hungry cannot go to the farm. The insecurity is stopping them from farming. Provide security and provide mechanization for long-term plan. Nigeria can feed the Africa.
Absolutely. All right, let's dive into cultural matters and discuss other things. Let's talk about Jigawa State. Tell us about Jigawa State, because anytime there's this joy you always that exudes anytime you're talking about Jigawa State. It looks like, oh, have you seen Jigawa State? So tell us about Jigawa State.
Yeah.
Their culture, what is their food? And if I see a Jigawa man, how would I know that Ahmed Kazaure is a Jigawa person? What's the first way to know?
No, we don't have a single identity. You can just like trademark. There are few people based on their tribe that have the marks. But majority, we don't have the mark. And we are just the average Nigerians. Some are tall, some are shorter. But one good thing about Jigawa is that it's a fertile land. Very, very fertile. We have the highest radiant in the country when it comes to the energy generation. Precisely the solar. We have the peace in the state. We are the most peaceful state. We have the leadership.
You have the leadership.
We have the leadership.
Okay.
I always acknowledge and admire that. Because whatever is going on is based on the leadership. We have a culture and we are disciplined people. It is only in Jigawa, as back then as during the former governor Sule Lamido, if you insult a leader, she will bring you on board. Why do you insult this old man? Can you repeat? No. Apologize, you apologize. It's okay, go. So we have that inbuilt culture of trying not to do something which you can tarnish the image of your family, your community. That is why we look different. We are shy at times, especially our ladies. They are shy and they are very calm. Yeah, that is why if you want to invest, go to Jigawa. We have the educational institutions, we have the infrastructural development, and we have the peaceful atmosphere. Above all, we are peaceful. You can ask anybody. And one good thing about Jigawa, you cannot discriminate against one another. In terms of religion, in terms of culture, in terms of tribe. Whoever you are, you can't try that in my state. The previous leadership, they bring on board non-indigent. They are represented.
Okay.
So they are there and we are living peacefully.
So if you're looking at leadership, you also have people who are not Muslims, and you have people who are not from Jigawa?
There are a lot of people that are non-Muslim and they are not from Jigawa, and they are there. In fact, ask any co-member that serves in Jigawa, ask him, do you want to leave Jigawa? He said no. There are opportunities.
Okay, so core members, this is already an advert for you. I'll move to Jigawa State.
Yeah. And the investors, anybody who want to do, we are ranked at the second ease of doing business in the country. We have an agency that is responsible for inviting the investors, that is Invest Jigawa. We have our brochure, we have our mineral resources identified, where there is large quantity, where you can do a lot of things.
All right.
And above all, we have a pre-trade zone in my state.
Free trade zone. I like. All right. So what's tell us about food. Tell us about marriage, your drink.
Yeah, the food is averagely the core northern food. We are more on grains and fura and nono. Those are the major. Yeah, and tuwo, swallow. And one good thing is the people of Jigawa, they look into what someone is doing. If it suits their culture, they will look at it and, okay, yeah, it's good. Let me copy from that and put it into our own and see what result can we have.
Okay.
Yeah, that is another part of it. So it's very peaceful.
So how's marriage like? Do you intermarry or you must marry from?
No. It's intermarriage. Yeah, you can marry from any tribe, from any nearby community.
So you can you marry a Yoruba person or an Igbo person?
I can marry Yoruba, I can marry Igbo.
And your family will not see anything wrong with it?
Yeah, if my family think that way, then, just like our leaders. There are leaders that are married to Igbo. And they are from Jigawa. So we have that awareness of, he is a human being first. Yeah, let's have it to the family first. But in another people, like more where there is Fulani cannot give out his daughter to another one unless Fulani. So they are now doing that to maintain the culture and heritage within themselves. But in another way, because of the civilization, because of the Western education, then we are open-minded people. So
are you going to be described as a Fulani or an Hausa person?
Yeah, we are a mix of. It is of recent people try to separate between Fulani and Hausa. But you cannot separate Fulani and Hausa. We are Hausa Fulani. So we are integrated. Like myself, my father is a Fulani, but he cannot speak Fulani. Him himself, Taklas of me. My mother is from Meduguri, from Gumel. He is not Fulani. So you can see how they come together.
Okay.
So my wife now is purely Hausa. I call myself Hausa Fulani. So we are married. So the next generations, just like today, you cannot separate. The only Fulani that are identical is those that are at the, around the bush moving with their camels and the animals. And those are not Nigerian Fulani. Some are Cameroon, some are Niger Republic.
Really?
And this is.
And they are based here.
Issue. They are moving around. They move from this place to another.
Are they the challenge we're having?
Absolutely, yes.
So if we're talking farmer-herder clashes?
That is the root cause of it.
Interesting.
And they know.
So you have an organization, Mieti Allah, and they are in charge of these people, the Fulani and all, and then especially the herders. Do they know that the challenge or they have been infiltrated by these Cameroonian Fulanis and the Niger Fulanis that you talked about?
Yeah, the Mieti Allah, they are a kind of leadership. You see, there are complications in terms of leadership, especially when it comes to unstructural organization. If you have money, you want to have power. If you want to have power, you want to move further to get more power. If you arrange 10 people, you say, I'm your leader, you are speaking with their voice. Among them, somebody may not necessarily, agree with what you are saying, but because you said you are leading them, they allow it to go. The former governor of Jigawa State is Fulani Sulalamidu, and everybody knows him. He stands by what is right, and I have never seen a day where he came out to say, I am the leader of Fulani. So the leadership, people just take it after say, okay, we are your leaders, with or without your consent. That is how I look at it. But the genuity of matter, the government knows what to do, even when it comes to the leadership of either Fulani, Igbo, Yoruba, and whatsoever. Igalo, this guy from Yoruba land. He said he is a leader. Leader of who? He came out to say they are chasing all the Fulani out.
You mean Sunday Igboho?
Sunday Igboho. Look at this guy that is in front of Igbo.
Nnamdi Kanu?
Nnamdi Kanu. He said, I'm a leader. Is Nnamdi Kanu the leader of all Igbos? So those are the issue, and it is the government that allowed it to go that way. If they want to control it, they can do it. But if you look at it from the other point of view, government are interested on what those guys are doing. That is it.
Okay, so even as we begin to round up, let's go back to culture and then talk about, when I was talking to, I had conversation with an Hausa person and then a Fulani person that we're trying to understand at what point did they now start having this discrepancy where you have Hausa people who say, no, I'm not Fulani, and Fulani person will say, no, I'm not Hausa person. So, and then the Fulani person was talking about their culture, and then he said, talked about how before you get married, that's earlier, before you get married, the male has to be flogged so many times, and if you are strong enough to withstand that flogging, it means that your wife will know, oh, my husband is strong enough to get married to me. So what is the culture that you practice in Jigawa, and what apart from the culture, what are the sporting events that is practiced in your state?
Yeah, like my state, if you want to get married, the first stage is the parent will look into who are your friends and what else can you do. Stage one is you have to provide your own home, accommodation.
Okay.
So you gather your friends, you go and build your house. They will give you the land. Okay, build. After you build, you fix everything. Okay, now it's like you are ready. Okay, this is your farm. Can you produce what you can eat, you and that girl? For the next 2 years? Yes, I can do it. So then there is energy and that agility. So you have to go and work hard, based on what you have gathered as a farm process. Then they said, okay, this guy is mature enough to get married, he can take care of the family.
Okay.
And that is food security and accommodation. So that is why in Jigawa, majority you see that if we are married, we are living in our own home. So the more you are growing with family, you are now expanding. If you are buoyant enough, you can say, okay, I'm leaving this house to build another one. And that is one good thing about us. But you cannot get married and take the girls. Exactly. You start paying rent, you start looking for where to get food, where to do this. No.
Okay.
That is one good aspect of us.
So what's a popular sporting event or festival?
Yeah, the Salah is the popular event during the Salah break, Ramadan and Eid al-Kabir.
Okay.
Yeah, where rams are killed. But when it comes to the marriage event, it's just normal. Sometimes you just come out with Ganga, we dance, we do a lot of things. But because now there is new event, there is event centers.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you see one of the bride from my state, you feel like you are running away from it because there is the reality of the coloring. What they see in the picture, they will just try to do for the groom. Sometimes it look ugly, but still they feel that okay, it's part of the enjoyment. And that costume is now in our doorstep. You see a young lady trying to do the lalle for them, trying to do the all the customs and what have you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right then. So before we let you go, we'd like you to speak to our viewers and then talk to them in your language, your local dialect, and then tell them that regardless of whatever it is, we need peace. We should stay with peace.
Yeah, so ina ganin ga wanda Allah ya sa suke kallon mu kuma suke sauraron mu a matsayina na Bahaushe dan Jigawa wanda kullum ina alfahari da jihata kuma na yarda cewa akwai zaman lafiya a jihata kuma jiha ce wadda ba ta ba da bambanci tsakanin kabilu da yare da kuma addinai. So jihar Jigawa jiha ce da nake kira ga mutanen mu wanda suke son yin kasuwanci su zo su invest a cikin jihar mu domin a samu daukaka da ci gaba. Zaman lafiya shine ci gaban al'umma. In babu zaman lafiya babu wani al'amari da zai yi. So ko kai musulmi ne ko kai ba musulmi bane ba ko kai bayarabe ko kai inyamuri ko ma waye kai Jigawa ta ce ka zo cikin ta.
At least I heard Yomuri. Thank you so much. How do you say welcome?
Sani da zuwa.
Okay, Sani da zuwa, Sani. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you very much, Annabelle.
Great.
My pleasure.
All right, viewers, that's all we can take for today. Whatever you do, please embrace peace and stay safe. My name is Annabelle Oji. I'll see you next time. Good morning.